everyone. So about a month ago, I put out on Instagram, on the Heart Right Instagram page, and was asking people, would you all be interested in a video about how I meal plan and then how I grocery shop on a budget? And I did get some responses back and saying that yes, you guys were interested in that and wanted to learn some tips and just how I did things. And so this is a video that I've actually been thinking about for a while doing. And so I was excited to hear that someone actually wanted to listen to it. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to run you through this video of how I meal plan. And then in the next couple of videos, one or two videos, just probably end up being two videos because I can talk a while on the subject, will be the grocery shopping on a budget. But to get started, first we obviously have to have a meal plan, or we don't know what to buy at the store. There's a lot of different meal planning videos out there. You look on YouTube and you can probably find hundreds of different ways that people meal plan. And I have tried a bunch of different ways before too, and some lasted a long time and some didn't. And the one that I'm going to show you, I have used portions of this for a long time, and then modified it differently over the past probably couple years, at least a year and a half. And I have finally found what really works well for me. And so what I'm going to share with you may or may not work for you and your family, but maybe you can take a few of these steps and get some ideas of how to be more consistent, how to know like what to buy at the store, what do we even like to eat, and what do we want to have day to day and week to week. So that being said, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to break this down into 4 different steps. The first 2 steps take a little bit of legwork, but once you get them done, you don't have to do hardly anything with this for a long time. I have not modified these first 2 steps myself, or at least modified much, for probably at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And so like once you get these 2 steps done, then they're good to go for a long time. And then steps 3 and 4 are going to be ones that you do every time you go grocery shopping, but they don't take a whole long time. For me, I grocery shop once a month. I have been grocery shopping once a month for a year now, and it is a big trip. It takes time, but I feel like I'm actually saving time versus going like every single week. One, because I live in a more rural area and it takes a lot of time to like actually run to the store. But secondly, I don't have to come up with meal plans every single week. I don't have to go to the store every single week. I don't have to come home and unload everything. I do it once a month, and then it's done pretty much for the rest of the month. And I really love doing this, and so the benefit of like time and energy saving for the most part, but it also helps save on your budget. And that's something that I will go into more detail on in the next video. I'm not going to say much right now, but for the next video, I will talk about how meal planning once a month has really helped stick to budget a lot. So we're going to get started with step number 1. Now step number 1 is you are creating a list, I think you can see this on here, of all the meals that your family likes to eat. And then I have them broken down on here in different categories. So like I have quick meals here. I just wrote down all the different meals that I make that are fairly quick. So when I come home from, a big day out, like a big day grocery shopping, or come home after church and I need something to put together in like 20 minutes or less, then these are kind of those meals. So, having things like pasta, tacos, we have tuna noodle helper, tuna patties, things like that. These are like super quick meals that don't take a lot of time. So I just write them down. This category is I have things that take beef. This is much longer, but it has anything that takes a beef product, whether that's steak or roast or ground beef or another form. List them here. Same for chicken. I have a list for soups. And then I have a list of breakfasts that we like to make, a list of lunches that we like to have, and then on the other side, I have side dishes, you know, veggies, you know, mac and cheese if that's something that you guys eat. Sides go over here, and then a list of favorite desserts. This list is my go-to when I actually sit down and make the shopping trip list. And so this might take a little bit of time, but it's kind of fun. You get to go through all of your recipes, Pinterest, handwritten notes that you've written out, even things that you have in your head. And just write them down. Write down the things that your family enjoys eating. And these don't have to be things that you guys eat like on a weekly basis. Obviously there's more meals in here that can be fixed in a month or in a week, or even in a month. But like write down things that you guys like to eat. You can write down seasonal things too. I mean, like I have soups written down here, and we only eat soups in the wintertime. We're not eating these soups in July. But I want to know that these are favorites. So I am actually going to have a template similar to this one available underneath this video that you can download and print, and then you can just fill in the blanks. Because actually I said I haven't done this in 1.5 to 2 years. I need to update this list. Because I mean, there are things on here that my family, like, I have not made in like a really long time. And there's new recipes that I have made that I want to add to it. And that's the benefit of this, is that you know, leave some room and you can add in recipes periodically that you guys start making regularly and you really like. But this is step number 1. And this is going to be a huge, huge help for you later on, because you're not racking your brain trying to figure out, oh my goodness, I have to figure out like meals for the next 2 weeks. What am I going to make? Because it's easy to forget and get into a rut of making the same meals over and over and over again. This helps you to not do that. Alright, we're going to move on to step number 2. Step number 2 also takes a little bit of time, but you're not going to have to mess with this list again for a while. Step number 2 is making a list of what you buy where. If you are a one-shop store person, like let's say you only shop at Walmart to get your groceries and that's it, you don't go any other stores, you don't typically buy things, food items online, then you can skip this step. It's not really that important. But if you're like me and you do shop at multiple different places, and there's some things that you're going to get at one place that you're not going to get at other because you either like the product better, or in my case typically it's just cheaper at one place or another. So what you're going to do, I'll show you my list, which I need to update this list as well. But I typically shop at Aldi. I have on here Walmart. I don't actually shop at Walmart hardly at all anymore, so that one will be coming off. Either Kroger or JC, Sam's Club, and then I also do an online order with Azure Standard, which is a food co-op. And so, what you're going to do is you're just going to write out where are the stores that you typically go to buy your food at. And it just depends on where you live and your preferences and stuff like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write down pretty much every item that you typically would buy at the grocery store. Okay, so you're going to, in order to do this, you're going to need to go back. You can do one of two things. You can go back to your different meal ideas and look over these recipes and say, okay, for pasta, I need pasta sauce, I need the pasta itself, I need meatballs or ground beef or whatever it is that you add, whatever it is that you use to make pasta, and then think, okay, where do I typically buy those items? And if you buy spaghetti one place, but spaghetti sauce another place, then you're going to want to write that down. Or you can just go through, because some of these items are not necessarily going to be things that you buy all the time, or they might be seasonal items. But just to get your idea, look over past grocery lists, just the things that you buy. The more detailed you can get, the better, because this list is going to serve you well later on. But write those things down. Aldi, I buy fruit there. I buy nuts and crackers, and most of my veggies come from there when we're not growing them in the summer. Sam's Club, I'm buying things like almond butter and maple syrup. I don't go to all these places every single time I go grocery shopping. I usually go to Aldi and like either JC or Kroger. Those are pretty much some places I go monthly. And then I will I'll go to Sam's Club about every maybe 3 months or so. And then I'll also do an Azure Standard order about every 3 months or so as well. So really, while I might have 4 or 5 different places on my list, I'm not actually going there every single time I go grocery shopping. That would be exhausting. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I usually only go 2 places. But this lets me know where I like to buy those items, for one. And then the second benefit of this item is you can be like, well, I typically buy bread at JC, but maybe I should check the prices at Aldi and try out their bread if it's, less expensive. And it allows you to be able to kind of price match different items. If you know where you typically buy it at, then you can maybe price match some other areas, some other stores. A lot of people make price books. That's like a big tip in helping you shop on a budget. I don't do a price book theoretically. I kind of just keep it in my head. I know like prices per pound or per package that I usually buy things at, for the most part, things I buy regularly. But I mean, that's something to think of, that you can look up plenty of videos on if that might interest you, is to just look up how to make a price book. But this is obviously not a price book, but it is my master shopping list. Alright, so that is step number 2. The 2 hardest steps are now done. Alright, now comes the easier part, and that is step number 3. This is what you're going to do every time you go grocery shopping. If you go grocery shopping once a week, then you're going to do this step once a week. If you do it every 2 weeks or once a month, just however often you typically go grocery shopping. But my tip for you is to find something that's consistent. In order to meal plan effectively, in order to save money effectively, you can't just stop by the store like every time you get off work and come home. Stop by on Monday and pick up a few things, and then you stop by on Tuesday, and then you stop by on Thursday, and then you can stop by on Saturday when you're out. Yeah, it's not going to work. You need to be more consistent. So you need to pick, I'm going to grocery shop once a week, or every 2 weeks, or once a month. And then stick with it. Stick with it for more than one time. Stick with it for a period of time, multiple months. Get your groove in. This is going to help you with meal planning, and it's going to help with your budget as well. So, I'm going to show you specifically step number 3. And for me, it's once a month. So, you can modify it however often you decide to go grocery shopping. But I just take, it's like a stain on here. I just take a notebook. You can make something fancy and print it off if you want, but I just use a notebook. And I number it 1 through 31, or 30, if the month only has 30 days. If you're doing it for a week, and you're shopping for once a week, then you're just going to write 1 through 7. what you're going to do is you are going to go back to your master meal list of all the different meal ideas, all the different meals that and you're just going to start writing them down. Let's say that I want to have soup. I'm going to write down vegetable soup. Actually, I'm probably going to write down vegetable soup twice because usually I make a big pot and it lasts at least 2 meals and then a couple lunches as well. So I'm going to write down twice. Let me know those are 2 meals that it's taken care of. I'm going to have pasta. Let's say I'll have pasta 3 times this month. I'm going to write pasta, pasta, pasta. And I'm just going to go down the list. I'm just going to fill it up. To be honest, I usually leave the last few lines blank. I don't actually usually get them all the way filled because realistically I know that there's going to be some meals in a month that we're going to visit family, and so I'm not even going to be cooking supper. Or maybe we decide to go out to eat. Or maybe we had more leftovers than we realized. And so another supper is already taken care of that I don't have to fix up. So that happens. But if that would bother you, then just go ahead and fill it up. And it's something that, like, if you're just doing it once a week, then you're probably going to want to write at least 7 meals. And then at the bottom, which is something I just started doing, is I'm going to write other dishes and desserts. Maybe there's a special event coming up, like it's Christmas time, and I know I'm going to be making more desserts. I'm going to write down those things so I know I can remember to buy ingredients for them. They're not normal things, but I want to make sure I have it. Or if I find a cool dish that looks delicious on Pinterest and I want to try it, I can either put it up here or I can set it over here. Or maybe there's like a lunch dish that I'm not planning on making for a supper, but I want to have written down to try for a lunch or breakfast. You can put that here. One thing I'll note is I do not meal plan breakfast and lunches and snacks or desserts. I only specifically meal plan dinners. If you are more comfortable, like you'd rather have everything lined out, then you can go ahead and do the same thing for breakfast and lunch, and you can add a category for desserts and stuff if you want. But for me, we keep breakfast fairly simple. They consist of usually like oatmeal, eggs, occasionally cereal, and then something like I'm using like flour to make something like pancakes or like a breakfast cake or something. And so those are things that I just know in my head. We have these same things regularly, so I'm just going to make sure I keep those ingredients on hand pretty much all the time. Or if I'm getting low on them, I know I need to get this to the store. Lunches are leftovers, or they're just sandwiches, or just like quick things. I know that we like to have things quick and available when we're busy. Like, they're not healthy, but having hot dogs on hand. So I don't meal plan breakfast and lunch. If that's something you want to do, go for it. It just makes sense to me to meal plan dinners. Alright, so that was step number 3. It really doesn't take that much time. It just takes a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, to write down those meals real quick that you know you want to have for the month. And then what I do on the other side of my meal plan, I write my grocery list. So when I go to the grocery store, I have the meal plan available, and then I have my actual list. And so that way, if I modify something, or I'm like, I can't remember, was I going to have that meal this month? Then I can just quickly look at my menu. So I write down the stores I'm going to go to. This month, I'm going to Aldi and either JC or Kroger. And I just start, you can see I have Oreos on here. We're going to do like a nature experiment thing with Oreos. That's why we're buying the Oreos this month. But these are your lists. So you can go through like recipes, or like for me, for the most part, I make these things enough that I just know off the top of my head the main ingredients that I need. And just start writing down your ingredients. We're having pasta, and we're having soup, and we're having, we're not having lasagna because my husband doesn't do lasagna. We're having roast. My brain is dead at the moment. We're having all those things. And you're going to write down what you need to buy for each one of those meals. And it's as simple as that. And then you also get to reference your, let me find it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Where you're buying certain things, the stores that you go to buy those items, you can use this list to reference and write down your grocery list. These are the things I need this month from the stores that I'm planning on going to. And I know exactly which stores I need to buy those items from. So that's it. So that's kind of how I meal plan. Now, one other thing that I'm going to say is some people specifically pick out on Monday of this week, we're going to have this. On Tuesday of this week, we're going to have this. Wednesday, Thursday, and they know specifically what they're going to have. I kind of do that, but I kind of don't, because I like the flexibility. I do have my planner, just my normal weekly planner that I use for all my stuff. To-do list, homeschool stuff, all that. I have a spot at the bottom that I do write down at least the general idea of dinners of what I want to have for that week. The main reason I do that is because, let's say I want to make chili. Well, I'm going to need to know if I'm having chili on Wednesday. Then Tuesday, I need to set some beans out in some water to soak overnight. Because if I waited till Wednesday to do that, it would be too late. So that's why I do have a general idea of the meals I would like to make and kind of the days I want to have them on. But I'm notorious for moving things. And so if you're like me and you make a general list, but then you don't actually stick with it, that's okay. But this gives me a general idea so that I'm not at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon going, oh, I have no idea what I'm having for supper tonight. You know what? Chili sounds really good, but I don't have any beans soaked. I gotta think of something different. Kind of like today. I don't know what I'm going to have for supper today because I haven't planned it. But that is the general way that I meal plan. I hope that you got some tips, some different ideas, some things that you want to try out for your own meal plan. I know that it's not an easy thing, and it's something that frustrates a lot of people. I've had a lot of people mention, ugh, I hate meal planning, or I need to get into meal planning, or I just eat things on a whim, whatever sounds good at the moment. And I get that. So this is something that I have done for quite a while now, and it has worked really well for me. So I hope that it can be a help for you as you are trying to organize your life just a little bit. And stick around for next week. Next week I'm really excited about that video. And I'm probably going to end up putting into 2 different videos. I don't think it's going to fit into just one. But it is how I grocery shop on a budget and how I feed my family of 6 going on 7 a healthy diet without having to spend bukus of money on food. So I hope you'll stick around next week for that video and that it will be a help as well. So have a good week, guys. See you later. Okay, real quick, I forgot to add that I will have the like a PDF or something for both steps 1 and steps 2. So making the meal plan, master meal plan list, and then also the brain fog's bad today, people. Alright, your master grocery list. I'm going to have templates for both of those available for you guys to download. So